Hey everybody, this is Ben J. Johnson here, and today we're going to be doing another movie review. And today we're going to be tackling Godzilla vs. Kong, the newer one that just came out for Warner Brothers MonsterVerse, or I think it's Warner Brothers who owns the series. Yeah. So a little history lesson before I actually get into the movie. Basically, this is no, the idea of these two creatures, Godzilla and Kong, they haven't been around forever. There was a film from 1962 which basically did a similar thing, had them actually fighting and stuff. Albeit it was stop motion and sometimes there were people in costumes, but back then people ate it up. And now we have this new film which is directed by Adam Wingard for the MonsterVerse, and there was a lot of hype. So hold on, yeah, sorry, my hair is a little pretty. There was a lot of hype regarding this movie, and rightfully so, because, hey, it's freaking Godzilla versus Kong. How could you not get a little excited about that? We saw a lot of Kong in Godzilla, in 2014 Godzilla and Godzilla King of Monsters, and we saw Kong at his full potential in Kong Skull Island, so it was really fascinating to see what Warner Brothers would do with these two for their first ever team up or fighting movie again. And this is what I this is what I viewed. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you guys haven't seen the movie, I suggest you do so. Maybe come back. Just so you know, everything from here on out will be spoilers. It's kind of hard for me to talk about my feelings without spoiling, I guess. But All right. So how do I start out? Basically the plot for this movie is that basically it's been 3 years since Godzilla saved the world from King Ghidorah and King of the Monsters, which is kind of weird considering Godzilla King of the Monsters came out in 2019, and this one takes place in made 2 years later in 2021. So it's kind of weird, maybe. Then again, I think this was planned to be released back in late 2020, something like that. Yeah, I think that's the reason why. There was a little confusion on the dates there. Godzilla is now hailed as this hero, even though he hasn't been shown up in a while in this city in America, because he saved the world from King Ghidorah. He's hailed as like the king of the monsters. In the ending of the last movie, he was hailed as this phenomenal god because he saved the world and stuff. So one day, Godzilla comes out of nowhere and absolutely attacks this apex building that's having this apex building out of nowhere and destroys everything around it. And because of that, he's hailed as this bad guy all of a sudden. People just immediately think he's back to hating on him again. So yeah, the world has kind of lost faith in Godzilla in a way because of that. Meanwhile, this is what the film opens up with. I need to get into this. The film opens up. The first thing you see about this movie is the fact that we see Kong. The Kong is the first character we see in the movie, and it's an absolute delight. We see him in his natural habitat. He's yawning. He's burping. He's walking around like a middle-aged man. He's scratching his butt. He's taking a shower. It's absolutely great. When you see this kind of next level humor in a movie like this, you know exactly what you're getting into, in a way. So anyways, Kong has been living in this simulated reality thing, accompanied by this one girl who apparently, who knew him on Skull Island, I believe, maybe. Yeah. So anyways, this mute little Asian, Japanese. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna call her Asian because I can't really distinguish what Asian nationality she is. So if you guys can let me know, just let me know. So anyway, this mute girl who speaks in sign language and stuff, she carries around this Godzilla doll and she uses it as kind of her comfort little thing, sort of way. She's watched over by this by this one woman who took her in when, after the incident happening in Kong Skull Island took place. So anyways, one day, the higher ups from this one place find out that there's this energy source coming from the greater Earth, so they send So this woman, this Swedish dude who's acting American, and the mute deaf girl, along with his team, they take Godzilla. No, they take King Kong. No, his name's actually Kong. I'm just gonna call him Kong for the simplicity of the review. So, anyways, Kong is actually they take Kong hostage in a way, or they comfort him along the way, so they can help him find this power surge that will hopefully help them to either I don't know why they actually get the power surge anyway. It's kind of confusing as to why they want to lead him down there, but it's for a very special purpose, and they do make good use that Kong is even in this movie. They make him they make him an integral part of the plot. And meanwhile, while this is going on, this girl named Madison, who's the daughter of the deceased scientist from the last movie, I forget her name, Emma Russell. Yeah, Emma Russell. So yeah, she's a little bit older ever since the events in the last movie. She has a chubby British best friend. I can't. No, yeah. When I look at her best friend, yeah, she's actually accompanied by this one dude, who I thought was a girl at first. When you look closer, it's actually a guy. It's just he has. I mean, I don't mean for saying this, but he just has long hair. It just kind of fooled me for a second. It took me a good few minutes when I was watching in the theater to figure out what gender he was. That's kind of hilarious in a way. So, anyways, Madison has been watching this podcast by this one guy whose last name is Hayes. It's the one African American. There was this African American dude who's been making these podcasts regarding the stability of Godzilla and how and the theories regarding around his attacks. So one day she makes a conscious decision against her father, who's also alive in the last movie, to actually go out and find this podcaster along with her best friend. He's kind of the comic foil, but yeah, he's really the only comic foil in this movie, which is something I'm okay with. So anyways, Madison, her chubby British friend, and the podcaster go out and try to figure out the conspiracy behind Godzilla's attacks. And now, I think what you guys might be wondering, it's Godzilla versus Kong. Is there even any Kong fighting in it? Yeah. As a matter of fact, there is. There's at least two scenes. There's a scene where they're fighting on the boat in the water, and that's really spectacular. I mean, and before I go any further, I just want to point out my one complaint with this film that I think is somewhat valid in a way. I mean, even though a lot of people might disagree with me on this, but for a film that's called Godzilla vs. Kong, there really isn't a whole lot of them actually fighting, to be honest. It's mostly about the humans, who are honestly really underdeveloped. I didn't want to believe that at first, but after all the things that people have been saying about the movie, and me saying it myself, yeah, they are really underdeveloped. Even the ones who are from the last movie are really underdeveloped as a result. And don't get me wrong, there are scenes in the movie where you see just Kong and Godzilla fighting, because, yeah, like I said earlier, there's this huge, great scene where they're two going at it on the boat, Godzilla's swimming in the water, he detects Kong, he jumps out of the water and knocks him out of the boat. They both get onto this plane hanger. Godzilla's pushing Kong down into the water. He shoots his breath from down into the from the earth. Yeah, it's all great. It's all great stuff. There's another fighting scene that takes place in Hong Kong where the lights are all illuminated and stuff. You really feel the weight of the two punching and kicking and using their powers against each other. Oh yeah, and speaking of powers, for some reason, when they do go to this celestial power surge in the beginning, it turned out to be Kong's home, and in this home, he for some reason has this giant throne room of sorts and a little axe. I didn't know if that was something he had in any of the previous movies or just something they made up for the film, but I thought it was really cool in a way. And as for the villains in this movie, this is where it kind of drags down a bit. But here, let me explain. And apparently, the sole reason that Godzilla is acted all rageful at the beginning is because the company at Apex actually built a Mechagodzilla. Yeah, that's right, Mechagodzilla is in this movie. And yeah, so yeah, the big bad. So yeah, apparently this is where it gets a little ridiculous for me at first. This is another complaint I have with the actual movie, besides Kong and Godzilla barely not fighting. And so like, let me explain. So apparently, Mechagodzilla is first mainly controlled by a Japanese guy, but and yeah, the big bad corporation guy, I forgot his name. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought speak this. I saw the film yesterday, but yeah. Um, so anyways, when Madison, her best friend, and the podcaster find this facility in Hong Kong, um, they find Mechagodzilla, and at first he's actually this big towering mechanical version of Godzilla, as he is in the original film and stuff. So, anyways, yeah, like I said, he's controlled by a Japanese guy, but at one point he actually dies when he finds out that he actually kills the boss, so that way he won't be forced into his evil scheming that he has to like this giant Mechagodzilla. But in the process he kills himself. And yeah, and like I said, as soon as the Japanese guy dies, Mechagodzilla immediately gets a life of his own. And honestly, I thought that was kind of a stupid thing. I mean, you pretty much. I mean, would it really matter if he was controlled by a human or not? Regardless, he pretty much created life, a mechanical monster life. So yeah, you could have taken away this subplot about the Japanese guy being controlling this giant Mega Godzilla, and you wouldn't lose anything. Like maybe the big bad corporation guy should have died when he found out he couldn't control it anymore, or something like that. So, anyways, the film ends, or at least the climax of the film ends when yeah, oh yeah, I didn't forget to mention about the mute deaf girl, the woman, and the Swedish guy. So yeah, at one point they yeah. When they get to the Antarctic, the mute guy, the woman, and the Swedish guy who acts American, yeah, they get to the Antarctic where King Kong, of course, finds his home, and then yeah, there's this other lady that we barely got to see any time for. Just out of nowhere, she becomes this twist villain and take the sampling of the Kong's energy that was in his axe. Then she tries to make a break for it, but Kong just crushes her like that. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. Yeah, they just brought a twist villain in for really nothing. Gotta have the bad guy. It wasn't enough they had like the silly bad guy. Now we gotta have the twist villain girl in a way. Yeah, so anyways, the film ends with this climactic battle between Godzilla and Kong fighting the Mecha Godzilla. And yeah, it was really ridiculous kind of how it resolved, but let me explain. At one point, Emma, her best friend, and the podcaster are trying to figure out how to turn off Mechagodzilla in order to get him to stop, so that way Godzilla can get back up. Because Mechagodzilla's kicking his ass and stuff. So wait, after like several minutes of like figuring out, the British guy gets some dumb idea to just pour water on the thing, and miraculously that actually works. I don't know if it really disabled his powers or turned him off, but regardless, Godzilla is able to get back on his feet, not and knock him out, and King Kong's able to like rip out his spinal cord and save the day. Yeah, that was pretty epic. I guess. So yeah, that's kind of where the film ends. The woman, the Swedish guy, and the mute Asian girl are able to live peacefully. I guess. I guess Madison reunites with her father. The something like that. Yeah, and as for Godzilla and Kong, they meet each other one last time. Kong drops his Kong drops his hammer, his axe in respect. Godzilla roars at him in dignity, and they just both disappear. Yeah, that's kind of it. And yeah, that's kind of how the movie is pretty much. It's basically a very cliche type of B movie popcorn movie where you're not really supposed to like think about what you're watching, I guess. And in a way, I guess that was kind of the intention with the whole movie. It wasn't supposed to be taken seriously, and I can definitely respect that. I mean, there's a lot of movies that I like that aren't meant to be taken seriously. I guess you could argue that the prequels, the Star Wars prequels, aren't meant to be taken seriously. Oh yeah, Shazam is another movie that's not meant to be taken seriously. Yeah, yeah. All I'm saying, there's a ton of great movies out there that aren't meant to be taken seriously, and I think that's what they were going for. They were going for like a classic, sci-fi, I don't know, monster movie thing, and in a way, they did succeed. I mean, the scenes with Godzilla and Kong, yeah, they're phenomenal. They don't, like I said, there really isn't a whole lot of scenes where Godzilla and Kong are actually fighting, but whenever it does happen, it's great. It's really freaking great. I saw this movie in Dolby, and yeah, it was probably the best way to watch the movie in the theaters, if it's even open to you guys. Yeah, the rumbling of the seats and stuff. Yeah, that was a great way to like feel the movie, like the weight of these two characters going at it and stuff. But overall, after everything I've talked about, the highest I can only give this movie is a 6, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I love the movie. I love what I was seeing. It was cheesy in a way. It was corny in all the right ways. But overall, my biggest complaint with this film is that I just kind of feel like it cheated out of its title a little bit. We came here to see Godzilla fighting Kong, and don't get me wrong, we did see that. We saw it twice, two extended fight scenes with the two, which were really awesome. They were phenomenal. They were great. But overall, I mean, if you're just gonna have Godzilla and Kong fighting a Mecha Godzilla at the end, you might as well just call this Godzilla v Kong, Dawn of the MonsterVerse or something like that. And Batman v and you know what else? I'm just gonna come out and say it. Batman v Superman did a little better job at promising what its title was given to us than this film, to be honest, because the Batman v Superman isn't about Batman fighting Superman. It's about the two coming in terms with one another, about all the conflict and evilness that's being brought their way. And Godzilla vs Kong, it did do that in a way, but you might as well just call this Kong and Zilla, or how about the ascension of Kong and Zilla, or just something else, just something other than Kong versus Godzilla, because this really wasn't a movie to like decide who would win in a fight. This was more of a movie just to see the two of them team up together. And I guess if that's what you're liking, you'll love this movie. You will. You will love this movie. If that's what you want. But for me personally, yeah, I just really can't bring myself to bring this movie anywhere below a 6. To be honest, that's my highest ranking for this film, a 6. Yeah, like one last time, I had a good time, but I just think the title kind of cheated itself out a little bit for me. Yeah, this is a really good turn off your brain sort of movie, and you will like it. But for me, I just wish it could have been a little bit better with its title and promising. Hell, the advertisements were basically about the actors and the producers, basically talk about which side would win, but it really wasn't about that. And like I said, if you want to see two monsters going at each other and fighting other monsters, you'll like this movie. But for me personally, I just feel a little bit wronged out. But that's okay. That's okay. That is okay because yeah, it was yeah, that's okay because other people will like this while I will feel a little bit indifferent. But overall, at least it wasn't as bad as Detective Pikachu. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty much what does it for my review of Kong vs. Godzilla. As I record this, I saw in the theaters yesterday, and yeah. Yeah. I had and that's my review on Kong vs. Godzilla. What do you guys think? Did you guys like the movie? What were your favorite parts? Who were your favorite actors in it? Did you agree with me? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments if you want. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.